Live now to the UNHQ in New York. Tal Heinrich is there for us. Tal, talk us through what's in this resolution and why I understand it doesn't go as far as to blame Assad explicitly for the attack.
Tracy, the U.S., under the request of U.S. Ambassador Nikki Haley, asked to convene the session once again, of the Security Council. Right now at 3 p.m., actually, it's starting to vote on this resolution calling to set a new inquiry into who is to blame for the chemical attack, reports of chemical attacks, we should say, in Syria and Duma over the weekend. And as you asked, it's a new text. They revised the version that we knew from earlier. Of course, it's not the first time that there is such an inquiry and such an independent body that investigates reports into chemical attacks in Syria, as it happened before in April of 2017. So the text has been revised to meet some of the Russian concerns, because we know that the U.S. and other U.S. allies want the Russians not to veto this resolution, and we will have to wait and see, because the vote is set to start right now.
Now, Russia is, of course, presenting a very different narrative on this chemical attack. What can you tell us?
Right. We heard a very heated debate, a very heated discussion, very harsh rhetoric between the U.S., other U.S. allies and Russia yesterday at the Security Council, where all other ambassadors seemed to be very much united. And unity was the key word that kept reiterating at the Security Council. But Russia is, of course, not a partner to this unity, because it has its all different story of what took place in Duma over the weekend. The Russian ambassador to the United Nations said that no chemical attack, in fact, took place there, and that all images and videos coming out of Duma are in fact staged, Tracy. He also said that there are no evidences on the ground proving any kind of tracks of sarin gas or chlorine that has been used. The Russians and also the Syrians, we should mention here, called on inspectors of the OPCW to come and check, see for themselves on the ground. And the Russians are also saying that this is all kind of a bigger conspiracy, Western effort led by the United States to hurt Russia and to use harsh rhetoric against Russia, blame it for everything from the Salisbury attack to the chemical weapons, and responsibility for the atrocity taking place in Syria, and using this harsh rhetoric, which is even tougher than what was acceptable during the time of the Cold War, according to the Russian ambassador to the United Nations.
Now, Nikki Haley is saying that if this resolution doesn't pass today, this hour in fact, that the US would act on its own. What form could that take?
Well, in fact, what Nikki Haley and also the President of the United States, Donald Trump, are saying is that whether or not the U.S. Security Council decides to act, the U.S. will respond. And this kind of response, well, as we know from Jim Mattis, Secretary of Defense, and also President Trump, they said yesterday that all options are right now on the table. And that means, of course, using military force in Syria. We know that the Russians are warning against such measures. They said that this will come with grave repercussions. It could be an effort against President Assad himself, or taking out some military base in Syria. What we know from reports quoting a senior U.S. military official here in the U.S. is that the response this time around will be much heavier than the one that took place in April of 2017 with the launching of Tomahawk missiles on a Assad regime military air base in Syria.
Right. Tal Heinrich, appreciate that report live from outside the United Nations headquarters in New York there. We're moving